Alright everybody, this is Scott, and I'm gonna give you guys like an update. On the antivirus testing, my virtual machine is kaput. It's not even working. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to reinstall and get all that working again, which is why I didn't make the antivirus testing videos, even though I said I would, and even trying to fiddle around with the machine, it just caused a ton of issues and it wasn't working. And I kind of nuked my arcade site as well. What do I mean by nuked? I mean I've literally deleted everything. I had 13,000 games on here, and I've deleted all of them. I deleted all the categories, and it's starting over from fresh. My reason was there was a lot of crappy games, and that's the nicest way you can put it. The games just were simply low quality. They were everywhere. They just didn't fit what I was looking for. This way I'm going to do manual games. I'm going to add them by hand, write the descriptions, check them out. They're going to have to fit a nice set of categories. The main things are going to be most of the games that will be on there are only going to be allowed to be ones that can allow me to collect scores. Therefore, if a user signs up and sends the scores, they can be collected. And also allows me to add contests and other things. I'm also going to they all have to have a requirement of where they have a trailer or a video to go along with it. Meaning, I'm going to either have to make a video for it or I'm going to have to find one for the video. And this is only on the pre-game page. On the actual game page, it has to have a VD walkthrough of it. The walkthrough video is needed because it's kind of like an affiliate program where you watch it and I get revenue, and it's basically the same thing as YouTube. It's just I don't have the video. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just going to use VD on the game pages, and I want all the games to be compliant with that. Other things are going to be that this entire thing is going to have to be usable in multiple languages, which is going to be a major pain. To do that in the other one, I would basically have to go through each of the games and translate them, and there would have been 13,000 games to do. That would be absurd. I'd have to go through and figure out which games were actually worth keeping in the first place. So I kind of just said screw that, and I dropped it. So now I'm here, and I'm going through and I'm adding categories. I used the default ones, and the problem was in WordPress, anything that doesn't fit in a category will either end up in the other category or it will fit in the uncategorized category. I don't know how there can be an uncategorized category, because that's kind of like that kind of contradicts itself. But there will no longer be anything that's not categorized. It'll either have its own category, even if it has to be alone in it, then it's going to be in its own category to accompany it. Tags. Another thing that kind of ran rampant was when you added the games through the plugin, what happened was it pulled in all the tags. In a lot of cases, this can help. Unfortunately, what was happening is I had over 6,000 tags. And 6,000 tags in WordPress can be great if you have a lot of content on the site. However, most of the time it was the games just distribute when the game wants to be added, and it's being basically called in from the website, they tag them in multiple categories. The reasoning is that if they tag it in multiple categories, the chances of someone downloading it and adding it to their site increases. In this case, though, it caused several thousand categories to only have 1 or 2 games in it, which in turn made things very clunky and made the database absurdly large. So I'm gonna kind of have to redo that. I'm gonna drop it. Another thing is that this admin is going to start getting very difficult to understand. I don't have all the plugins that I actually want on here yet, and it's already becoming a little hectic with the size of the admin, so I'm going to have to clean that up. It's also not white labeled. I want to white label the admin, and I'm going to, as this theme progresses, the design's going to change. Like, this is the current design, and it's good. And while it's good, I'm going to have to make it my own. I'm going to make the menu a little bit better. I want to integrate a mega menu of some sort, to where all the categories will have a drop down, kind of like Miniclip or Armor Games. I'm going to want to do that. And there's just going to be a lot of stuff that needs to change. The forums, if you also notice these drop down menus, they don't suit the color. You go from this to a white. It just doesn't look good. And another thing that was causing an issue was with the actual the categories. The categories were not detailed enough. There were no parent categories. Everything went rampant. And I'm also going to have to categorize games by what their type is. If it's a Flash game, it's going to have to be in the Flash category. If it's a Unity game, it'll be in the Unity category. And the whole thing is to keep it structured. I want a very fine structure with these things. Because if I don't, what's going to happen is it's going to run wild again. The blog will also have to be used a lot. It should be having multiple posts a day or a week. And a lot of sites neglect that, which is why most people who get into this thing fail. I'm going to take a lot of design cues as well. Mobile gaming. You can technically play HTML5 games on mobile. And while this is great, and I'm definitely going to use it, there was a problem. The way that this theme is functioned to work is any game that's tagged with a mobile tag will load properly. It will show on mobile, and any game that doesn't have it, it's going to not show up. If you try to access a game that doesn't have the mobile tag on a mobile phone, then what happens is it's going to give you a page that says this game is not suited for mobile. Now, the issue with that, there were so many games that handpicking and going through all of them was actually impossible. Going through each and every one of those games to make sure that they were compatible with the mobile query was impossible for me to do. I couldn't figure out what games were going to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it, and I couldn't bulk categorize them because the only way to do that is if I looked at it from Game Distributor, and because of the way that WordPress works, I can't search only through the Game Distributor. So that caused a whole new issue. So I just said, last night I just said, no, I'm dumping it all, and I've deleted every single game on here. That's why you don't see anything. In fact, those categories, I'm adding them back manually. And I've got, I don't know how many categories here, but I'm going to keep adding categories, and all of them are going to be in parent categories, and they're just going to be really easy. They will be super easy for everyone to follow, and I'm going to start running contests. I'm going to have a store. I'm going to do videos as well. The way WordPress is set up doing videos like that, I want to do it through the contest video gallery, but there were issues with trying to implement it properly. It wasn't displaying like normal. Because of the way this theme was built, it's kind of difficult for me to implement it, but I'm trying to work on doing it. Because it's a really nice video gallery, and it would be great for the theme and great for the users. But it's a pain in the butt. So this thing is going to be very selective. If you try to go to the site right now, because there's no games, you're just going to get it that it's under maintenance. But it's going to have a lot of changes. It's going to be unique. All games will have unique descriptions, and they will all have instructions, and they will all have screenshots, and they will all have... Everything is going to try and be as unique as possible, and it's going to be as filled out as possible, because the more stuff that's there, while it may come across as being a little spammy, or it may just come across as being annoying, it's still handy to have that stuff there. Everything will be compressed in speed. A lot of things that was an issue was in the other one. There were thousands of images, and literally there were just thousands and thousands of images. So what happened is whenever I wanted to, say, compress them all, it ran into an issue of I would be there for days trying to compress them all. Because there was thousands of them, and I couldn't just sit there for hours on end watching it compress away. So I eventually just said that was a waste of time and stopped trying to do it. But it's a waste to do that, not do it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have them all optimized on the upload. The games are going to be a lot more selective. They're going to be filled out. They're going to be unique. There will be contests. There will be a lot more stuff, and it will just be a 100% better site. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to try it, you can, well, if you're watching this, depending on when you're watching this, you can try and go to the site. It probably won't be working, but you can go to it. There's just going to be a lot of stuff, so thank you very much for watching and the understanding regarding the antivirus test. And goodbye.